Hey, you guys. So you missed the Explore Parent Youth Orientation because it's 2020 and that's just how things go. But I didn't want to send you like a PDF just with a bunch of words because I don't think things set in. And the point of this, of the orientation, is really to kind of set the frame for what you're going to and you should expect from the Explore experience. And so I made this video understanding that watching another video is probably one of the last things you want to do at this point. But hopefully it helps a little bit, and I promise not to take any more time than is necessary. So let's jump in, because this is Explore. And a few years ago, we redid this whole program so that it wasn't confirmation class anymore for a few very specific reasons. One, let's talk about what Explore is not. Explore is not confirmation class. It is not, you're going to learn a bunch of things that you need to learn in order to be the right kind of Christian, or we're going to pour a bunch of information into your head to somehow change you. That's not what it is at all, because that's just not how faith has worked, ever. And that's not how Jesus presents it. Two, it is not AP Sunday School for all the reasons I just said. It is not fish. This is a completely different thing. It works in a different way. Whether you're connected to that or not doesn't make a difference. It is not brainwashing, telling you what you should believe. We expect that your beliefs will not change drastically after being a part of this. Instead, you will have a much clearer sense of what you do believe. Our main premise is that God is already talking to you, has already been talking to you. We just forget how to listen. And lastly, it is not what leaders think you should know in order to be a good Christian. One of the things you will learn about this is that through the last 2,000 years of the Jesus tradition, what people have believed have gone an incredible amount of places. This isn't about finding the right set of steps or having the right theological furniture arranged in the right way in your head. This is about something bigger. And so it's about exploring that bigness at the center of the universe. That is God and you. So, what is it? Explore is a program that trusts that God is already speaking to you. It is a chance to learn through action and relationship. That's how most things are going to go down here. There's going to be active things you're going to do, that you're going to choose to do, and there's going to be relationship, because we think that's how God moves in people's lives, and that's how you become aware in most ways. It's going to be a place to practice trusting for both adults and youth alike. This is going to take trust in each other, that we will not hurt each other, that we will be open to each other, and that no one is going to roll their eyes or scoff at what someone else brings to the table, both for you and for your mentors. It's going to be a space to encounter ancient traditions and new perspective, understanding that people have been doing this for 2,000 years, and those people were no smarter, no more ignorant, no more. They didn't have anything that you don't have, and you don't have anything that they didn't have. And so the point is to learn from the generations and also to grow in what we have right now. You're going to seek time. You're going to have time. It is time to ask, seek, and knock for the faith you actually want, not looking for or receive the one you need to have. Again, this only goes as far as you want it to go. You will receive what you are looking for. If you just want to get through it, you'll get through it. If you want to discover something more beautiful than what you knew before or realized, you'll find that. And lastly, it is a challenge to try something different. New practices, new ways of thinking, learning new things you don't know yet. It's a challenge. So, how does this work? First, we open with our Explore retreat. Obviously, we're not going to Crystalline this year. We're not going to be getting together for a few days. And so this will be online over the course of a couple days. And you can see the times on there. January 9th, you'll get on at 10, you'll get on at 1, you'll get on at 4. We'll do some stuff together. You will never be on the Zoom call more than 50 minutes, at least not with me. You might get together and have a conversation with your mentor or do some other activities. But those 3 times is when you get on the 9th, and the 10th we'll come back on one more time to kind of wrap it all up. This will set the stage for everything that we are doing afterwards. It's also meant to help you start connecting with your Explore mentor. And so when I say set the stage, one of the things I'm talking about is we don't have a set curriculum for you yet. We don't have they're going to learn this, and they're going to do this, that, those. Instead, part of that retreat is going to be exploring together the deep question of, what does it mean to be a follower of Jesus? What are the most important things to do? When does it shine the most or become the most powerful in our lives? Each time we've done this, they have come out with a different set of priorities or a different set of qualities. Those things then form the way that we explore together for the rest of the time. I can't really go into it more than that right now, but just understand what you bring to the table, what you're interested in, what resonates with you, what feels beautiful and worth pursuing. That is the things that will guide the rest of this as we do it together. So then, after the retreat, you will be participating in Explore in 2 different ways. One is in Touchstones. These are once a month meetings where we get together, you'll learn a little something, we'll do some practices together, and we'll do some planning of what the next month might look like and the kind of stuff you might be able to do with your mentor. They are really just a way for you to connect with the other Explore youth and other participants, to orient yourself to that month and to kind of help plan together. And when I say plan together, what I mean is most of Explore is set around what you do outside of those meetings. So this year, of course, that's going to look a little bit different because of COVID. The things that you can go and do are going to be limited. And so that'll probably also be part of the kind of creative process. And we'll work through that kind of stuff together and those questions together. But you will be getting together with your mentors about once a week. We have a couple set things for you, one of which is these guys that we call swap journals. And what you do is on a regular schedule, and you can kind of decide this with your mentor, both you and your mentor will have one of these, and you'll kind of go through the exercises, answer questions, do some thinking, a lot of art, and kind of working with it. And then each week, you guys will swap your journals with your partner, and you'll see what they wrote down, the kind of stuff they're working on, thinking on, have experienced, the stories they tell, the ways they wrestle. They will do the same with you, and that way you guys will connect and get to kind of see a little bit of each other's heart and what God's doing. So it's not like this is your journal and that's theirs. You're constantly swapping back and forth, and you will create it together. We're also going to ask you to read through a full book of the Bible. It's a different kind of experience than taking one scripture at a time and hearing a lesson about it. And you guys will explore it together. What does it mean? Why does it say this? That's weird. What is that? What's the point of that? What does it bring up in me? That kind of thing. So once a week, you will get together with your Explore mentor, either swapping journals, going through the scripture. In the past, they've just had meals together, or gone on walks, or gone and done an activity that they enjoy. There's not really a set way that you have to do it. It'll be what works for your life and what you and your partner enjoy. But that's the way that you'll build that relationship together, and you will explore together. And so when we say go and do, you're doing it together. Maybe you'll visit another kind of worshiping community or another religious experience. Maybe you will read a different book. Maybe you will do a social justice project. or I don't know. It's varied far and wide. And so in your time with your mentor, the things that spark for the two of you will guide what you do together and how you ask and explore those big questions. Lastly, at the end of all this, you'll be asked to do a faith project. In the past, they used all confirmation students used to have to write a statement of faith. Basically, I believe in this. We understand that a lot of people just are not writers. The written word, that kind of thing, isn't the way they express faith. And so we open up wide. And at the end of this, you can do anything you want, any project you want, to express what you have experienced and who God is and what your faith is with the rest of the Explorer group. We have seen paintings, we've seen PowerPoint presentations, we've seen dances, we've seen songs, we've seen sculptures that have been made, picture collages, you name it. Students have done it, and you will be encouraged to do one in your way. And it is beautiful, and I can't wait to see what it is. It's my favorite part of this whole thing. And so lastly, in this part, it's the question of what about joining the church? It used to be that you do confirmation and the end kind of point was then you're able to join the church, and you do, and everyone just kind of joins it. The problem is we understand that doesn't really mean a whole lot to some people. Going through those steps oftentimes leads to the youth then disappearing afterwards. And so we got rid of that part of it. The trick is, or the tension is that as part of your faith journey, joining the church, becoming a member of a faith community and having that commitment might be a part of it. And so you are not expected to join the church. You don't have to join. There is no, it is not incomplete in any way if you don't join, but joining the church is an option for you. And it is one that we encourage because we want you to become part of this community. And we want to make that commitment to you while you make it to us. So that's that. And we'll talk more about it as the program goes on. So the hardest part of this, not just Explore, but church overall, is something that I want to speak to a little bit with you to kind of set the frame. With the understanding that church attendance, right, becoming a member of a congregation, being a part of a religious or faith community is something that fewer and fewer and fewer people are doing. And there's a whole lot of reasons for that. But I think that one of the main reasons why fewer and fewer people are becoming part of a faith community is not just because of the sins of its past, right? Or is not just because of the way that church has failed in the past and in the present, because that's always existed. It's always been really imperfect and kind of shaky. I think there's something more underneath it all. And I think that right now, almost everything you do, and when you decide if you're going to do it or not, when you decide if it is worth doing, where it kind of ranks in terms of all the options, is generally, will it bring me one, identity? So does this help me find my thing? Will it make me more confident? Will it make me be more of me and have other people recognize it, right? Does it give you an identity, more identity? Or does it give me some kind of future growth? Will this help me get more stuff and skills or opportunities in the future? And generally, the rest of what we do is ranked in terms of how much or how little that gives us, right? And so if you are a dancer might be really up because it gives you a really high sense of identity. It kind of lets you know and have to build who you are and lets other people see who you are in the world. And that means a lot. Same thing with like sports, right? Or Schoolwork is generally one of the highest, right? Because there's a lot of future growth potential. It gives you a lot of options in the future, and that's really, really important. The problem is church, or often faith in general, doesn't really offer one of those two things. It's not really what it's for. And so even if you have a deep faith, even if it really means a lot to you and have played a huge part in getting you where you are, because of the way we are taught to think, because of just kind of the way our society works, it can't help but fall kind of down that ladder of important points to meet and to do, right? It can come a little bit later, it can be put off. Except there's one thing that doesn't get graded in this way oftentimes, and that's family. Those relationships, they tend to exist on a really different scale than the rest of life. It doesn't get ranked along with the other stuff, and it has its own set of values, right, that it lives by. And the reason I bring this up is that things like church and God and faith and everything that Jesus is doing in scriptures, it tends to be all about that which cannot be earned and it can't be lost. And so on the one hand, people, when they hear that, they might wonder, then why put the time and effort into it to begin with? If it can't be earned and it can't be lost, if it's just part of this thing that I receive either way, why worry about it? And my answer is generally for the same reason that you don't do that to family. Because deep down, we all have this innate sense that the reason anything is worth doing at all is because the parts of it that you can't earn or lose to begin with. So then the best you can do is stay connected to them as deeply and as fully as possible. There's this moment in Jesus's life when he's like he's with this group of people and he's teaching them and he's living with them, and someone comes to him and they say, outside, your mom and your brothers are out there, and they're looking for you. And he says to them, who are my mother and my brothers? And looking around at all those who sat near him, here are my mothers and brothers. Whoever does the will of God is my brother and sister and mother. And to us, that sounds kind of crass, like it sounds like a rough thing to say, like it's a rejection of his blood family. But one of the things Jesus is talking about is he's saying the way that you value things like family, the way that you hold that which makes everything else worth doing, instead of living your life in a way that seeks to protect and shield and pull close that niche, that place, those people, why not open it up bigger to experience that thing, that reality, that good and that beauty in more and more and more places? So when Jesus says this about his family, he's not saying that his family is worth less. What he's saying is what I'm doing, who he is, the whole point of his Jesusness in the world is because as good as that is, you can experience it in so many other places, with so many other things, in so many other ways. The point of religion, the point of church, the point of this kind of community and understanding this stuff isn't because it will help you better earn or better protect the good that you do have or that you want. The point is that it should expand you and make you bigger, as big as God, to experience the good and the beauty and the point and the value in more and more and more parts of life. And you can't earn that. But you also can't lose that. It's not a reward. It's a gift. It's all gift. And the point of this is, how do we wake up to and invest in and give ourselves to more and more gift and grow it in a way that others get to experience it through us. And so Explore is about that. Exploring where can I know that kind of God, to live that kind of life. And so the last section, and the most practical one, let's talk about schedule. This little rundown you're going to get in an email, and I encourage you to kind of print it out on a piece of paper and put it somewhere where you can see it. These are the different dates of touchstones, understanding that not written here are those weekly get-togethers with your mentor and the activities that you guys will do together. It also includes, at the end, you'll see celebration dinner and recognition Sunday. That is a special dinner that you have with members of the church leadership and session, in which you get to share your faith project with us and tell us stories, and they get to ask questions, and it's a celebration of all that has happened and an appreciation of you and you being a part of this and getting to share it with us. It says May 11th there. We still have it as a dinner, understanding that nobody knows what's going to happen come May 11th. And if we have to change our plans, we will. And then lastly, that recognition Sunday is you're going to stand in front of the congregation and we're going to celebrate you together with the whole community. And you'll learn a lot more of that when the time comes. And lastly, just a couple points of business. One, it says mentor accountability. Your mentors are getting a training about how they'll communicate with you and with your family, so that all of the Safe Church and what's the word we're looking for? All of the kind of mandated reporter, all those kind of things that have to go on in the post-Sandusky world. They'll know about all that, and there'll be certain ways that they interact with you all to keep everyone safe in every way. 2, COVID-19 wisdom. We are encouraging you, if you are comfortable with it, to get together one-on-one in person with your mentor in that weekly meeting in some way, in a safe way. But if you are unable to, or just really uncomfortable with it, that's okay as well. And we're leaving that up to you and your mentor and your parents about what is the best way for you to get together. Understanding that in person is always best, but it sometimes just isn't possible. And lastly, if your family hasn't made a final commitment yet about you being a part of Explore, please do that ASAP. If you have already made that commitment, then don't worry about that last part. And so that's it. If you have any questions for me, feel free to call, text, or email. And I'm excited for this year, even though it's going to be different than any other. What I'm most excited about is to hear about where this takes you, the kind of conversations you and your mentor have, especially as you get more and more honest and get less and less polite, and as you experience more and more of that which you haven't experienced before. And so, grace and peace to you, and we'll see you in January 2021 for Explore. Bye.